And if it wasn't for that day with the brake caliper and taking that moment to persevere and push through and be committed to the journey, be committed to the project, I wouldn't be recording this for you right now. Because these are all habits that are formed because you go through the fire. Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode here on Creative Journey. I am A.B. Wright, and I'm hanging out with you in a different episode today. Wolf Howard is not here. In fact, he would have been here on this episode if this episode was the one that was originally recorded. Let me just say the audio in that recording was trash. And before we even try to read my mind about why, it wasn't user error. More than likely, it's probably the Mac. It's probably my old Mac. I thought it might have been the software, might have been any number of things, but I think it's equipment, and this is just one of those moments where I've got to upgrade what I'm using. And that just is another one of the things that comes with the territory of being a content creator or just being an entrepreneur in general, because you are supplying everything that you use. I've got to do what I need to do to make this happen so that I am not put down for good. I feel like an opportunity to record this particular show, just like any of the other shows that we are highlighting the actual journey, is really to take advantage of today. Today is actually President's Day here in the States. So for all of my listeners or watchers on YouTube, that is in other places in the world like the UK and Africa, Asia, other parts of Europe, it is President's Day here. It is a federal holiday. And one of the things I really enjoyed when I was in the military was having a 72 or 96. And for those that don't know what that is, it's basically the extra day off, the weekend plus the extra day off, or a series of 3 days or 4 days. So in this particular case, it would have been a 72 with having the weekend off and today being the observed holiday. One of the things that I noticed when I transitioned to school and my creative journey as a filmmaker, as a YouTuber and creator, I didn't have holidays. I didn't have holidays. Classes would still be in session, with the exception of like Thanksgiving and Christmas. But for the most part, unless it was, something that just happened to fall on it, or maybe the assignment carried us out of class and we didn't have to be in class, for the most part, it was just a regular day in school. And so for today, like many of the other holidays, today is just another day for me. And it's been that way for a while. And I'm surprised I even transitioned to doing so, because one would think the whole dream is to be on your own schedule, do your own thing, and to have a holiday, too easy. I'm observing the holiday. I'm not doing any work. At least you can make your schedule to be just that if you want to. But things like this happen, and it's just me as the producer and creator of this show, and the show must go on. The show must go on. The responsibility falls on me, not Wolf, not anyone else, on me. Therefore, I don't have the option to not bring the content, to not fulfill the obligation and the promise that I've made, not only to myself, but you, the viewers, you, the listeners, that there's content for you on a consistent basis. And this is where you, as the creator, have to be mindful of what your dedication and your commitment is for. I get it. I'm not talking blanket statement across the board for any specific situation. You wear the shoe as it fits. But for me, I had no reason not to bring the content. I had no reason not to go back and re-record this. Does it suck that I have to do that? Of course. By all means, you're asking, hey, well, did you try to fix the audio? What was wrong with the audio? The audio was echoing. I could hear it in the mic when we were testing the equipment before we started recording. And we thought maybe it just was the mic. Maybe it was just the connection. We restarted stuff. I had issues with the camera, I believe, the week before or maybe 2 weeks before. And that didn't get sorted out till after the show. So, if any of you recall, if you watched on YouTube, the end of the show, probably the last 5 minutes was blacked out on my end. But regardless, the show went on. So we troubleshot everything. I just assumed everything would be good to go and hoped everything would be good to go. And things would echo and be canceled out here in the software and maybe be able to do something in post. Absolutely could not. So therefore, that audio was rendered trash. So here I am. I want to ask you, what would you do in the situation? Because I know if you've got better things to do, this is not happening. It's put on the back burner. Maybe you just say, F it. This isn't for me. That's just the thing that happens that becomes the excuse now. Really didn't want to do it anyway. Your heart wasn't in it anyway. So now that's just the thing, the one thing that's all that was needed to just push it right on out the way. Okay, on to the next one. I tried. So what would you do? For any of you all that are car enthusiasts or just love cars in general, or I don't know, maybe like well-known music personalities or rappers in the industry, Rick Ross is hosting his second annual car show in Atlanta, in Fayetteville this year. I believe we're still waiting on the date to drop. I should check. Let me see. For those that want to go, let me just see. Rick Ross Car Show on Instagram. And let's see, has he listed a date yet? Nope, still stay tuned. We got rickrosscarshow.com. Okay, we'll see what happens there. That's slow to pull up. Okay, here we go. Nope, that's the old information from last year. So, that car show is coming up this year. Now, I'm not sure if I'm attending this year. Depends on the projects that I have going on. I think I'm probably not going to make it this year. And that's to say, last year, I actually went and I filmed. I had the opportunity to film and create what's called an after movie for the show. It's on my YouTube channel, Euro Auto Enthusiast. Of course, if you want to check that out, shameless plug. So in preparation for the shows, of course, I got all my camera equipment together, had purchased a new lens. Now, in that, I'm a DIYer. As a car enthusiast, I'm a DIYer. I work on my cars. And one of the things I had to do was get the brakes done and some other things, make sure it was road ready. Didn't have any hiccups or anything. Everything went very well. And I hit the road that Friday morning. I hit the road the Thursday morning. The show was a Saturday. Hit the road Thursday morning. Get there early so that I could meet up with a content creator that I had been doing work for, and also to kind of scout out the area and maybe see if I could get anything before the show. Well, on the way there, about an hour into the drive, I'm in Indiana, and I get off to go get some coffee and use the restroom. Nothing abnormal. And I get to a stop sign, and I hear a clunk. I feel a clunk. And as I'm trying to reverse and move, the car will not move. So I have to move, reverse, go forward. It's not moving. So I get out of the car, I look around, I don't see anything abnormal, nothing's falling off. I'm like, man, what is going on? So finally, I maneuvered in I maneuvered in drive and reverse a couple more times. Finally, I get it moving. I get over to the gas station that I wanted to go into. And I stop. I finally get out. I investigate. And it happens to be the caliper, the brake caliper on the right rear tire. Seemingly, the caliper bolt had backed out. And now the caliper was moving. Man. First off, so glad that this didn't happen at high speeds to where it could have been really, really ugly. Could have been really ugly. So I'm grateful already in that moment that it didn't happen at high speeds. And I'm going to tell you, the first thing that popped up in my head was, I'm not going to be able to go. In fact, leading up to going, I was really apprehensive about going because my funds weren't quite right. The beginning of the year, that car, we had spent a lot of money to get the car fixed. Some things happened with a Valtronic motor that I ended up repairing myself, and some other things that I couldn't suspension-wise, and I had to pay someone else to do what I was capable of doing. But there was a lot of money that went into that because of the price of parts, the whole delay with shipping and parts and everything that was going on with production at the time. So really easily, I was like, I don't have to go. Let me just go get this thing figured out and I'll just head back home. That was the initial thought. It didn't play all the way out to that, but that was exactly where that thought was going to go if I continued to allow that thought to fester. But in the back of my mind, I kept giving myself a timeline. I said, you know what? If I can get this done in the next couple of hours, I'll go ahead and go. So basically, we called our tow service, or we called our insurance company, and they sent out a tow truck. And fortunately, a BMW dealership was nearby, and I was able to let them know what I needed. We did some research on what the bolt looked like or where it was. Had to look through the diagram to find out exactly which one it was because I had no part number on me. And we eventually figured out what it was, and I was able to get the bolt in. I didn't have all of the right tools with me, and I was able to get the bolt in and make my way just across the way to a Harbor Freight. And I got the tools I needed, got everything cinched down, torqued down, the whole nine. And within that timeline, got it done. I said, hey, let's go. Let's go. Just sheer determination to get there. I didn't have any specific goal in mind other than to create the after movie I had worked on and had envisioned doing prior to the show. And therefore, pun intended, the show must go on.
We made history.
And I'll say this. While there were some great experiences that came out of that, I met some great people. I met a chef in North Carolina that he and his wife are doing amazing things. Chef D, what's up? Salute. They are making an amazing transition with their business. And that was one of the highlights, one of the many highlights that happened at that show. And one thing I will say about the car show is very high energy. The energy of the people that were there, not just music artists and entertainers and politicians or anything other than that, but there just was a dynamic of high energy that was there. So when I left there, I was on cloud 9,000 because of just being around all of that energy and seeing people making things happen. From that day, it allowed for me to have other opportunities because I had so much belief in what I do as a cinematographer, as a filmmaker, that has bled over into the other ventures that I have taken on since then. And if it wasn't for that day with the brake caliper and taking that moment to persevere and push through and be committed to the journey, be committed to the project, I wouldn't be recording this for you right now. Because these are all habits that are formed because you go through the fire, you go through the trials and the tribulations. If you're constantly quitting, then every time you come up against adversity, you're going to quit. It's going to be natural. So if quitting is the thing and being more consistent is the thing, or excuse me, if not quitting is the thing, pushing through and persevering and being consistent and showing up for yourself is what you're aiming to do, then that's where it starts. The roadblocks, the adversity, the challenges, the no's, you've got to push through that. And when you dare yourself to push through that, it only takes the one time. It will have so much impact on who you are. And really deep down inside of you, you will believe in yourself to do what other people see as impossible. Because for you, you've practiced it so much. It's innate. It's natural. It just happens because that is the thing you do. Whoever this message is for, I am grateful that God used me as a vessel, as a creative entrepreneur, to share that with you today. You know, I look for the silver lining in things. I look for the small things that make the difference between a complete failure and success. And although the audio from the previous recording was trash, this isn't. This is a diamond. For some, we're chipping away at the coal. For some, we're intensifying the pressure and the heat. So all of the things that you can't see, the impurities that are there, that is hiding the diamond that you are, this is to help you get to that. So I challenge you, if there's something that you have come up against recently, and if it is still an opportunity to push through that, to make that happen, then go make that happen. If you have a business you want to start, you have a creative idea, you see that there's something there, you see that God has given you a vision, then you need to start working on it. Start honing that. I have in previous episodes shared that it is in the process of me understanding that there was something, doing my homework and research on the things that made it make sense to me, that made the greatest impact for me and my family, sitting down and talking with my family. And let me just sidebar here. At the end of the day, the talks sometimes is just courtesy. Because if you're convicted and you have belief and God has already green-lighted it, then like me, I was pushing forward anyway. Let me just get that out there. I was pushing through it anyway. I was not stopping at a no. It just was going to be, okay, you don't see it. We just going to have an argument about it. We're going to have to agree to disagree. But God is telling me to push forward. He's telling me to go. So the talk with the family that I'm highlighting, honestly, is just courtesy. Hope that sits into your spirit. Let that sink in. Let that sit in. I'm telling you the truth. All right. But once you have the conversation and once you've decided to push forward, then you make the plans to push forward. Just be ready for what is to come. And guess what? You can only be ready for there to be adversity. You don't know exactly what it's going to be. But I promise you, it's coming. In all shapes, sizes, forms, identities. It's coming. But believe in yourself. Believe in yourself and push through. Again, if you're looking to develop the strategies to become more consistent, to show up for yourself, not just for other people, you got to show up for yourself first. In turn, we're showing up for our clients. We're showing up for our audience. We're showing up for our families. We're definitely showing up for God. But at the end of the day, you got to show up for yourself first. I hope this is challenging you to do so today. And I look forward to the next opportunity to share something with you. Share the experience with you from the week. And to share something life-changing that's going to help you on your creative journey. I'm A.B. Wright. Thank you for tuning in to another episode. I look forward to seeing you next time.